Sebastian whisked me out of the way. Unfortunately, that brought his body into direct contact with mine. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. The moment his muscles were pressed against my breasts, my whole body went to red alert mode, or more like hyper alert mode. Pulse racing, breathing erratic, brain on the fritz. Lady parts. Well, let's not discuss the lady parts. So when he leaned down closer to my face, I could only squeak in response. I stared at him as my body betrayed me, and I bit back a moan. This is the Crown Prince. Get your shit together. I was his royal guard. I needed to remember that, except none of that worked to cool the heat of my skin or the decidedly unprofessional tingling in my panties. This is a job. This is a job. You will not lust after Sebastian Winston. My body had zero interest in obeying. Our eyes locked for just a moment, and his lips parted. You smell incredible. Do you know that? That? Know what? He was asking me something. I wasn't sure about the context of what he meant, or perhaps his proximity was clouding my brain. This had to be the way that he got away with murder. He would dull the senses and the rationality of any woman in a 6-block radius. As superpowers went, I had to respect his. Because even though I was a professional, even though I knew better, I still couldn't help myself. I nodded my head. But when he leaned closer, the rational part of my brain clicked into focus, and I said, "What are you doing?" Sebastian leaned closer still, and my eyes fluttered shut. But instead of pressing his lips against mine, he shifted his head down a little further before dusting his nose along the skin of my neck. Heat pulsed between my thighs, and my knees wobbled. Air. I needed more air. He blinked in confusion. There's something really familiar about the way you smell, he whispered against my skin, and then he backed off, deliberately taking several steps away from me. I'm sorry, he frowned. Now I've come across as a total creeper. I shook my head to clear it. I'm just going to the ladies' room. He began to open his mouth as if he wanted to protest, but then he shook his head. Look, if you change your mind, please let me say thank you. I'll buy you a drink. I shoved away from the wall and forced my legs to move toward the restroom. Nope, I'm good. See you around. And then I ran to safety, far away from the prince, far away from the job I was supposed to be doing. When I shoved into the restroom, it was crowded as usual. Ariel pushed away from the sinks. Where have you been? Your comms were down. Are you okay? I stared at her for a long moment. You are not going to believe what just happened.